All right, 8th graders. In lesson 6-1A, we took fractions and decimals and wrote them as percents. So today we're going to go the opposite way. We're going to take the percents and write them as fractions and decimals. I think you're going to find that this isn't too bad. Now, if we are going to take a percent and write it as a fraction, we're first going to practice on some that don't have any mixed numbers. What I mean there is that it doesn't show up as 124 and 1/3%, or 43 and 4/9%. They're just straight numbers, 124, 43, 140, etc. The simplest way to do this is to remember again that percent is a ratio over 100, out of 100. That's going to become our denominator. Now, by writing that 100, I no longer need the percent sign, so I'm going to write the 124. Notice I don't take the percent sign with me when I write it over 100. That over 100 means percent. But I need to reduce it to lowest terms. Just like any fraction has to be reduced to lowest terms. I can divide both my numerator and denominator by 4, and I will have 31 over 25. And in this lesson, they're going to allow you to keep it as 31 over 25. You can have the improper fraction. 43%. Once I put the denominator as a 100, I no longer need the percent sign. It's 43 as my numerator. And this one is already in lowest terms, so I can move on. But I want you to press pause and do the last two. I hope you got them right. You'll notice that in 140 over 100, I divide both by 10 right away and just cancel the zeros. It's much easier for me to handle 14 over 10 than it is for me to handle 140 over 100 to get to 7 over 5. And 12% as 3 over 25. What do I do if I have mixed numbers? I take the percent and I express that mixed number as an improper fraction. To take care of the percent, I'm going to multiply by 1 over 100, because to multiply by 1 over 100 is really dividing by 100. Now, I hope you remember how to get from a mixed number to an improper fraction. I multiply 16 times 3 and get 48. I add my 2 and get 50. And then I keep that denominator of 3. Then I'm supposed to multiply by 1 over 100. When I do that, I don't have to deal with the percent sign anymore. Now I use my strategies. Now I use what I know about multiplying by multiplying fractions. I'm going to look on the diagonal, and quite often you're going to find that you can reduce something with that 100. 50 divided by 50 is 1. 100 divided by 50 is 2. Then, multiplying fractions means I take numerator times numerator. 1 times 1 is 1. Then I take denominator times denominator. 3 times 2 is 6. So 16 2/3% is really the fraction 1/6. Let's try one more together. 33 times 3 is 99, plus 1 is 100 over 3. That's my improper fraction. Times 1 over 100, which will take care of my percent sign. I can reduce the 100s by 100s and get 1s. 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 1 is 3. At this time, you guessed it, hit pause, and you do C and D. All right, class, how'd you do? Did you get them both right? 11 over 15 and 1 over 40. Good job if you got them right. Now, the other thing we're going to do is write percents as decimals. Now, if you remember in lesson 6.1a, we took the decimals and wrote them as percents by moving our decimal point 2 places to the right. When you want the percent, you move it right. When you want the decimal, you move it left. If they do not give you the decimal point, it's going to be to the very right of the number. And now I want to move that decimal point 2 places to the left. 1, 2. 1.5. That last 0 is not going to change the value. 1.5 and 1.50 are the exact same thing. So I don't write that last 0. In our next example, I'm going to move my decimal point 2 places to the left. 1, 2. Now you'll notice that I do not have a digit there. There's nothing in front of that 2, so I'm going to have to put in a 0. So 2.5% is 0.025. At this time, I'd like for you to hit pause and do the last 3. And once again, I hope you got them right. 0.004, 1.92, and 0.06. If we are going to order a combination of fractions and percents and whole numbers and decimals, one of the ways to do this is to, and this is the best advice I can give you, change everything you can to decimals. But remember that a whole number like 4 or 5 or 10 or 162, those are considered decimal numbers. And we use a calculator for this. Also, it would be a good idea if you have the same number of place values. For example, you're going to take everything out to the thousands or the 10,000s or the hundredths. If we look at 2/3, hopefully you've got this one memorized. If not, you're going to take 2, divide by 3. You're going to get 0.66, and then it will actually repeat. So we can use a set of ellipses to show that. Don't need a calculator here, just shift to the left, 0.63. 0.6 is already a decimal. But what I'm going to do, since I have 3 6's, I'm going to add a 0 here, and I'm going to add 2 zeros here. Now I'm going to take 5/8, that's 0.625. Now I have everything worked out to 3 places. If you recall, I've told you this before, if everything is out to the same places, I can ignore the decimal points and just compare the numbers. 666, 630, 600, and 625. From least to greatest, the smallest of those numbers is that 600, 0.6, 0.6. In our answer, we always use the number we're given in the problem. If you need to cross it off to show you've done it. The 0.625, 625, is the next largest. And then we go with 63%. And lastly, we'll have the 2/3. And you probably guessed what's coming. Hit pause and do example B. Did you get this one right? I hope you didn't change the 120 to 1.2, because then you would have had 2 that are the same. Remember, 120 is a decimal number. Hope you got them right. If you did, good job. And that will be Scoutin' out.